4 of Willow.
This fortress was the stronghold of the most brutal tyrant of our age, Bavmorda.
So they've all got to get Graydon inside, and they do some exposition about Bavmorda being Kit's grandmother. Obviously, Laura here has taken a liking to Mouseman. This whole episode is like a haunted house callback to the old movie, and the entirety of the episode takes place here. It turns out that Valentine, the old possessed guy, was going to complete what Bavmorda started when Laura was a baby. Mouseman says the ritual of the 13th night. And that is a good point. How is it that he knows so much about these things? He is the only person who has been providing information based on the evil culture. He was doing it when Willow so rudely told him to shut up. But then after that, Willow knows next to nothing or doesn't offer any information himself.
The ritual of the 13th night. Banishing your soul to a realm of perpetual suffering. Only the combined strength of Willow.
Why does Willow look so upset? It's like he wants to say, I'm the High Aldwin, excuse me. But he lets him do it because we need to recap people who haven't watched the movie or who don't remember the movie as to what happened in the movie.
Only the combined strength of Willow and Roselle, the two most powerful sorcerers of all time, was able to stop it.
So Graydon asks him, hey, you used that weird spell, right? And Willow is just like, doesn't deny it. He just takes all the credit. First of all, Raziel wasn't that powerful of a sorcerer either. And Willow basically did nothing. He banished the queen by accident. But yet, he's such a stand-up character, but in this series, they make him like this shithead. Although Willow was quite annoying in the movie, he had some character, and I don't believe that Willow would have taken all the credit for something he obviously didn't do. It's clear that he wanted so badly to be a sorcerer that he would actually let a lie permeate through the kingdom that he's the most powerful sorcerer of all, and say nothing without even remotely thinking that people would discover him. I believe people would have just been as, even more so, impressed with the fact that he was able to trick the stupid witch with her being a more powerful sorcerer or a sorcerer in general.
This is all your fault.
I'm sorry, how'd you figure that?
Well, you sent us on a wild goose chase to find some stupid artifact.
I know some people think I'm nitpicking for not liking an obviously unlikable character, but good grief, it's involuntary at this point. She's so detestable that I start to get like a whiff of hippo shit every time I see her on screen. This is episode 4, and I feel like they've already done irreparable damage if their whole intention was to have us like her in the end. You know, like if Joffrey from Game of Thrones started being nice, but not really, like it actually hurt him to be, and you expect after everything he's done and how disgusting he was for us to just be like, oh my god, I like him now. Give me a break.
And meanwhile, your fiancé, Greyonce, that has been ravaged by a 300-year-old demon.
Come on, man. Don't say ravaged.
Why is it that people in the show can't say certain words? You can't say groin, you can't say ravaged. It's as if they're trying to point out 21st century humor by focusing on words or bringing to attention words that can have double meaning when in that time period or the world they're building for that specific time period in fantasy would not have a double meaning for those words. Weird. So they're all eating pork. Willow's like, you know, he's gonna die and lose control and try to kill all of us. And our princess main character points out that, well, you know, the implication is we're gonna have to kill him. And while she might be right, she doesn't even consider that there might be another way. That's her go-to as the princess. You know, not to ask the sorcerer, the supposed most powerful sorcerer in the entire world, if he can do anything to help him. You know, like what he did back there. Really? That didn't come to mind? And also, why did she ask him in front of Graydon, whatever his name is, who is still obviously conscious? This person lacks all the tact of what a normal, socially awkward human being would have. So Jafar guy here says, that's easy for you to say if you've never actually taken the life of someone who isn't trying to kill you, like the pig he's eating. So Laura does the only thing that nobody else will do when she says, you're the greatest sorcerer alive. Sorcerer, do your thing, bro. Then she brings up again how he obliterated Bavmorda. That's the exact word that she used. He doesn't use his time to say that it was all a lie, and no, he didn't actually do that. But still, even if you didn't do that, even if it's not really the greatest time to own up to it now, it never enters your mind, Willow, the person after whom the show is named, to at least try to help this person. So he starts telling the story about Bavmorda and how she was bright and full of promise. And they retcon this, or maybe not, because this was never a part of the original story, but apparently she was abducted by members of a secret long-forgotten sect called the Order of the Worm. And apparently the crone, the bad guys, or whatever you want to call them, radicalized her. And so they made her backstory with her being a victim. Not a piece of shit that just chose wrong, but it wasn't her fault, you see. Bavmorda was actually a victim. She was young and she didn't know what she was doing, and these people kidnapped her, and they turned her evil, and that's why she's evil. Well, tickle me fresh and salt my ass. Why am I not surprised? So when Willow says, well, they gifted her with unnatural powers, and they ask him to give an example, and he says she once turned a whole army into pigs, and then we had to turn them back into humans. Time to crack another joke. There were pigs everywhere. They're eating a pig. So long-faced Jafar dude, with his infinity palette of wrinkles, worriedly asks if all the pigs were caught and turned back into humans. Implication Willow gives with his answer is there's still pigs, sorta kinda running around, that were human. Oh no, now everyone is lost their appetite. How gross. Ugh, how funny. For some reason, with all the faults that the old movie had, and as silly as it was, and how messy and low budget it felt, it still had better humor than this. Willow says if a right exists that can extract that kind of evil, he knows where to find it. Oh, bravo, Willow! It took someone pleading for you to help someone who was in danger for you to then think about that? Why did your High Alwyn ever think that you were the person? Well, whatever. Willow is okay, but they're actually successfully making me dislike him too in his own freaking show.
Yeah, they ruined it.
They find it in a book called the Malatrium. Here they have to do some weird ritual of purgation of blah blah blah, doesn't matter. And the proceedings are flippity floppity, fuck all. But the trick is it's complicated and dangerous, and he's not at his full strength.
Full strength.
I can even say the seed spell. No. Okay.
Wow. Remember, Kit, the muskrat main character, did stumble upon the tree and realize that Allura actually does have magic abilities, or she can practice magic, and she knows this and sees Allura saying that and says nothing. What a gem. Why am I not surprised? At this point, I am convinced that she is Bavmorda incarnate. I mean, she is her great-grandchild or grandchild after all, so it wouldn't be surprising if she was the villain, because she sure as shit is acting like it. Even still, taking out her dumbass out of the equation, let's just pretend she wasn't a part of this, because let's be honest, the show would actually improve by about 1.5%. Why is Willow asking her? She's clearly not ready for this, and Willow knows this, and he's still looking at her as if she herself is a sorceress. What are you looking at her for? So when she asks what Willow wants her to do, he says, we'll give you an introduction to alchemy. They decide to make a salve. It's a mixture of herbs and blah blah blah. Then if they say the right words, apparently it will work. The bad guys know they're here, so they're on their way, but while they're waiting here, what Graydon has that evil inside of him can also be passed to anyone here. So yeah, Willow, knowing this, having this full knowledge, allows Allura, the person who everybody is depending on for everything, to touch Graydon and hold him in her groin. Yes, I said the word groin. Shoot me with your freaking magic stick. Ew, that sounds wrong. I don't understand. I don't understand why he allowed her to do that, knowing this.
We can't allow Graydon's infection to pass to any of us. If it does, we won't get out of here alive.
Again, why were you letting Allura touch it? We don't even know how it is passed. And so, the cast does the great job of asking for exposition, how it's passed. They just invent it all of a sudden, which still doesn't make sense.
How contagious are you talking? Like if it coughs on us, or if I touch him and then I, touch my face, or...
The vermiscous goo. Don't sniff it, don't wipe it, don't eat it.
Why would we eat it?
Okay. So the vermiscous goo is basically like the pus secretion of a cursed individual. If you touch it, or like what he says, it enters your system, then you're cursed too. So again, Willow knows this. Why is he allowing Allura to be so close to this person? I mean, I don't blame her, because I would want to comfort them too, but I would know that's how it's transmitted, but Willow knows. He is sitting there there. Allura is important. You were sitting on the freaking throne like you're the king of Scotland or something, like a freaking idiot, knowing how contagious this is. She is directly in your line of sight. Yet you allow her to be so close to this person with her hands all over him and his face and him so close and coughing, and yet you say nothing. You know what I mean? Like,
No matter what, stand at the high tower.
the high tower is where Bapmortia would complete the ritual for Allura's spirit to be passed on. So stay out of there. Let's believe that's going to happen when Allura's the kind of person who has a propensity for wandering off. And call me crazy, but this isn't like the worst place for them to be, especially Allura anyway. Then we have this bitch being like, oh, you can't keep punishing yourself, blah, blah, blah. I know what you had to deal with when you had to do that with Valentine, when she really doesn't. How dare she? Let me go tell my best friend who just had to put down one of their animals, and I've not had that experience, and me tell them I know what it feels like. Since I have had to put down one of my animals, I can say without a doubt to someone who needs that comforting, I know what it feels like. And you can thus give them the proper advice or comfort thereafter on how you dealt with it, and they will feel as though there's camaraderie there because you understand what they're going through and they know you understand. This bitch sits up here, stands, she's so freaking frumpy I can't tell if she's standing or sitting sometimes, but she stands in this girl's face and tells her she knows what it's like. If you don't get out my face.
And how hard it was to, you know,
Kill him.
yeah.
She's not good with people at all. Like, she's bad. I mean, what does this girl see in her? Why are they even together? If she were not a princess, would the redhead girl even be interested in her? She's so repulsive. Ugh. Ugh. They're seriously villains with way better charm than she has.
He gave me a sword, and I killed him with it.
I know.
I'm going to the apartments to keep watch.
Are they not in a relationship? Have you screwed each other? Okay, if that's the case, you've kissed each other, right? You love each other, I think. Or maybe she actually doesn't care about curly head girl, because my first thing, especially if I love someone, would be to hug them. Don't say anything, just hug them. Are you lacking that much emotion that you see your lover hurting and your thing is to just let her walk away? Like, she's obviously in pain, and while you can't take that away, as someone who, never mind. I don't even know why I bother. It's so clear that this piece of shit doesn't even like this other character. It's totally one-sided, and she's probably just using her for company, and the redhead girl's probably just using her because of her power, or this person is abusing their authority and using them as a toy, and the other person has no choice but to obey them because she's royalty. So later, Jafar finds this yellow Nazi symbol, and it's this door that he obsesses trying to get into. He can hear women's voices talking in there seductively. So Kit comes back, and she's like, I found everything except for essence of nightshade. Can't leave out any ingredients or you blow up the whole castle. And I know this because I am High Aldwin. Thou shalt not say the word groin in my presence.
The fuck?
Then Laura says, hey, we need that one ingredient and we don't have it, but I know what does have it that might be around here. A possum. Brined possum bladder, which is really good thinking on her part. I mean, I'm sure it'd be much easier finding an animal than finding a specific plant within a mixture of all these different types of plants.
Red-throated possums eat nothing but nightshade. Cook down its spleen and voila. Essence of.
Is that what you put in your muffins?
Why is she so jealous of this girl? Like, I have a feeling they're gonna say it's because of her father having left to go take care of her or something, but seriously, nobody else has an issue with this girl except for you. If anything, I would think that this woman would show a little bit more gratitude because Allura is here for her brother, even though she's being sooky with the prince right now, you know, the other girl's fiance whom she doesn't care about, but she initially decided to come out here and help to find
Among other things. Can you just go and check if they have any?
You think that's something people just have in their cupboards?
the way the other guy just coughing in the background like, ahem, dying over here. Can you all catfight some other time when time is literally not of the essence? So they open up Graydon's shirt and find like a snowflake on it. He said he was sick when he was a kid. Oh, and Willow has no idea with what. But I thought you were the High Alduin, Willow. Shouldn't you know everything? Graydon says that he doesn't know, but it was something really bad and he's not allowed to talk about it because it's shameful. Laura claims it's not, without knowing exactly what it is. So they pour some shit on his skin. He starts screaming. So Jafar finds Kit trying to find the possum bladder. I'm actually surprised she's making an effort to do so. And he mentions that everyone thinks the castle is cursed and admits that he is plundering it. Kit doesn't actually care because she cares about nothing. It's surprisingly rare also to find an abandoned castle that has not been plundered. So that alone should make you feel a little bit trepidation as to why. He throws some shade at Kit saying that, yeah, your grandmother would be very proud of you right now, man, because you're a freaking dick. You got a bigger dick than I do. Not a compliment. So Princess Dickish does find the possum, while Willow and Alora start to say the incantation.
Gashog, Basog, Tarong, Amok.
Hurricane.
Amok?
Perfect.
Why didn't Willow correct her? He's so quick on the draw with that shit. Why didn't he do that?
Hurricane.
Amok?
Perfect.
Okay, Mouse Boy looking kind of hot right here. Nothing to bring up the level of attraction than someone dying while you're looking down at him. Okay, that sounded very inappropriate and it made me sound like a freaking psycho. That is not what I meant. Or is it? It's the sweat. Never mind. Whatever. Moving on. So anyway, Graydon starts to see his father telling him that he looks like a failure and blah, blah, blah. He looks like... Sorry. He looks like a CGI character from a cutscene from one of those, mobile games.
Redeem yourself for what you stole from me.
It wasn't me!
Then we see a thing of his, I guess, big deceased brother. Clearly, Graydon is reliving some trauma. His brother says that he'll catch him if he falls. It's clear that the castle is starting to play tricks on everyone. Kit sees some kind of fabric with an illustration on it about her grandmother accepting the rights into the cult.
Embrace. I will. The blood of the six runs in your veins.
That clearly looks like her. I'm gonna laugh if she's the villain. So fitting.
Primal priestess of the worm. Queen Bavmorda.
And the blood of the six runs through her vein and that of her brother. Jafar says something touching, not really, because she knows one of them is going to have to kill Graydon if he turns. Jafar mentions how Bounty would be proud of her. She awkwardly hugs him and he doesn't know what to do. Meanwhile, Dickish brings the possum and they start like stabbing its insides. And it's nice to see Alora own Princess Dickish because she's so annoying. They put the salve on the entry wound.
Give me some water, Peck, or you die.
Oh wow, look at that. That's what Mad Mardigan said to him when he was in the cage. Then they can hear Eric speaking through Graydon. It's probably a trick, and Alora, who is not great with reciting anything, all of a sudden knows the spells heart to heart without having to look at anything. Amazing how her memory has just improved over the course of a day. And that's a day of her not practicing. So Graydon speaks directly to Willow using the voice of his daughter, and he says, are you gonna tell her the truth or should I? We all know exactly what this means because we know Willow hasn't told people that he's not actually the sorceress he claimed that he was, and he's taking the credit for something that he didn't actually really do in the way people thinks that he did it. Again, I don't know why he just let this lie go rampant and didn't fix it because it catches up to you. What do you, whatever. Willow tries to shut him up, and this is very important because this guy is dying, and Alora is curious about what he means, but she chooses this time, when she's supposed to be trying to help him, to then question Willow about it.
Everything or I... Shut up, I say! Shut up!
What does that mean?
Why are you using this time to do that right now? He's gonna freaking die. Shut your ass up and ask him later.
You're not telling me?
Bitch!
Listen, if you can't be of any use, leave.
What in the world? So he chases her away because she's asking too many questions, and he could have chosen that time to say, okay, look, I'll tell you afterwards, or something, you know, because she's a dumbass or whatnot. But then he tells her to leave. But wait, didn't earlier you tell her that it's not going to work unless she's saying the spell too? Okay, which is it?
So wrong. Alora,
This won't work if you don't say it with me. This won't work if you don't say it with me.
What happened to your village?
Listen, if you can't be of any use, leave. Now, go!
So will it work or won't it? Willow? Why are his arms so freaking slimy? What the frick is going on here? He's not sweating as much as his freaking hands are, and they're not even it's slime. It's, ew, what were you doing? These two kind of sort of make up. Then Allura cuts Kit off when Kit's attempting to try and be nice because it's an alien concept to her. And Allura takes off into the corridor. Kit tries to follow her so she doesn't lose her, and she disappears because it's a freaking haunted house, and it's like the cube. And if you walk into a next room when someone doesn't see you, it closes off and then you get lost, and yeah. Jade starts seeing her dead family in the castle. She starts fighting this Wraith character, while Allura sees Queen Baphomet killing her mother or ordering her mother be killed. The mother, in her vision, says that my daughter's here. I can feel her. I see her. She's grown up fierce and resilient. She is a beacon of light in the time of dread.
So beautiful.
So when Kit and Jade bump into each other, they realize the house is haunted, castle's haunted. Then they hear some of the door that sounds like Jafar dude, and they're like, what's something only you would know? And he's like, you have the hots for each other.
Tell us something only the real Borman would know.
You two have totally got the hots for each other.
That's something medieval times people would say. Like, I know it's fantasy, but there's like a general tone in fantasy shows and verbiage so that people can be immersed in what it might have been like in a time that didn't have freaking cell phones and advanced technology, and that kind of takes me out of it. Yes, it's a nitpick that's worth picking. Then they say they don't. And then her getting yoked up is the best thing ever. I love it. I don't know why. It's just like, character is so annoying. I just want to see anybody just take her down. Seriously. Turns out the Kuras, whatever, it's missing. The thing that he lied about, that he claimed he didn't have when they went to go look for it. Can't find it, and she's the only one who was around him. When Allura goes back, she doesn't see Willow. And he's like, well, he ran out, and now that thing with evil spirits in him now. We all know that's not true. It's so obvious that it's still in him. He fakes trying to help her find Willow, and leads her to the high tower, which is the exact place where Willow told her not to go. Meanwhile, these two are like, oh, give us the reason not to kill you, Jafar, even though you probably would totally take us both down. Having way more experience fighting multiple people at the same time than we do. Although we do have plot armor, so there is that. He tells him, look, someone's in the high tower. And then surprise, surprise, turns out he's evil. But Allura still thinks he's in there and that he can be reached.
This is what you want, right? Confidence, strength. I can have that.
Clearly, but that's not what I want.
That's what Eric has.
It's not why I love him.
Oh no, you love him, Muffin Cook Girl, because he's the prince. Because seriously, there's no other reason why anybody would have to love him aside from that. I mean, I'm sure he has better qualities than his sister does. But let's be honest, the only reason these people in these shows or movies ever gravitate towards someone who is clearly not on the top of the attractive list is because they're royalty. No, it's because he's nice to me and he loves me. Oh, well, how's that going for you? You're falling in love with this guy while you're on a rescue mission for this dude that you claim that you love. See the irony? Willow suddenly does a Jack in the Box and comes out from God knows where.
What did I say was the #1 most important safety rule?
Stay out of the high tower. Maybe if you hadn't chased her away and you watched her because you know she's a freaking idiot who always ends up getting lost, this wouldn't have happened. Good job, Willow, sending away the person that the bad guys are after and sending them away to another part of the castle where you can't watch or hear her. Like, that defeats the whole purpose of watching over someone who you claim is extremely important, that the bad guys are currently on their way to abduct. God, his stupidity. So this guy starts to use his power to do the ritual. Then Allura's like, Willow, kick your ass like he did the queen. He used a spell. And he's like, should I tell her? You know? So he shows what actually happened. And yes, Willow's a freaking liar. In his own show, he's a freaking liar. I really hope that they redeem him later. Oh, wait. Did they take that away from Willow so that later on it's going to have to be her who defeats Pravmordia? Because technically, he did defeat her. Yes, it was her own carelessness, but he tricked her. He didn't use sorcery, sort of. He used a trick to do it, but he still did it. No, it wasn't good enough. I wouldn't be surprised if in his show, they have somebody else do it. What in the Pennywise. Are they serious right now? Nah, that couldn't be it. Or could it? The amount of times he could have used that. I know he needs to be at a certain strength level or something, but that wasn't very much. He had smoke bombs that he could have used, chose not to use them when they would have been most convenient. Dolores sees a vision of when she was tied up as a baby. So then Dickish says, hey, you can save him. You can still save him. Oh, really? Weren't you the one saying that he needed to have his head chopped off? But Elora has no courage, no belief in herself. And this is the time when Kit tells her, no, you actually did grow the tree. Really? Really? Wow, how convenient for the plot to move along right now and to figure something out. You could have told her that when you were actually having a heart-to-heart with her in the hallway. But oh well. A statue thing grabs Willow, but we can't do anything, while the others hold down Graydon. Then Elora kisses Graydon, sort of, to try and draw out the evil. And while she does, she can see young Graydon and his big brother. His big brother has always lifted him up. He said, riding and fighting doesn't make you a good ruler. Wisdom does. He says, I'll catch you if you fall, I promise. But it turns out that Graydon had an evil in him and he is the one who killed his brother, but it was an accident. I mean, looking at how he fell though, didn't look like he fell a very far way. I mean, judging from the distance, I could understand how he would be hurt, but unless there was a rock directly below him, doesn't really make sense, and he doesn't even fall like a human being. Wow, it looks like a literal dummy. And Elora acts like a freaking know-it-all afterwards. What is she, the guy from Green Mile? He's like, I never doubted you for a second. She's like, oh my god, that shit you were talking about earlier about feeling shame? Yeah, bitch, you should feel it. Even though it's very clear in the vision that he didn't mean to do it and something was possessing him, just like it was now. And yay, Laura is the one that ended up saving this guy, because in a show called Willow, Willow can't be the hero. When you also figure out the lead up to this too, and they really should have called the show Willow, The Adventures of Elora, or something like this, because it really is not fair taking a title and the character and then shoving them to the side. I literally am watching this movie for Willow. I know that Elora is a main part of that, but the show is not called Elora, is it? But it is sweet that Elora wants to save Willow because he saved her life. But good grief, the writing could have been a little bit better leading up to this, because she sees these visions, or she sees the vision of her mother having given birth to her, and Mapmordia ordering that she be killed. And so, before Elora knew that Graydon was still evil, and he asked her, how do you know which way to go to save Willow? She answers him with the most contrived answer, which makes no sense.
How do you know where to go?
I was born here.
Oh god! That's amazing! That's amazing! Oh, fuck me.
What? You were born there, but you were a baby. Even if you would have remembered the room that you were in, that was the only place that you've ever been in. And then you were taken out of it. What in the freaking frog crotch? They couldn't have written something better. Even the vision showed you exactly what you need to see exactly in the area in which your mother was when she gave birth. Did the vision, because you were born here, give you the automatic knowledge and blueprint of the entirety of the castle? And how to get to it? Get out of here. Anyway, the group of idiots finally leave the castle, and it turns out that Jafar had the thing all along. Then Princess Dickish asks Willow what's the blood of the Six. He claims that Six Fays betrayed the mothers to serve their dark power, and the line continued through the ages, strong magic, but corrupt. It flowed through Bapmordia, and through Eric and her brother. So apparently now their next mission is to reach the immemorial city before Bapmorda or the Crones or whomever the hell we're talking about at this time corrupts Eric, like they did with the Queen, Bapmorda. And since Elora's hair is starting to turn red and she saved Graydon, who she's now freaking judging, even though he told her straight up that it was shameful what he did, and it was an evil that possessed him, Willow encourages her, saying she might make a good sorcerer yet. I don't know, Willow, you had so many years to practice magic, and I know you're not, like, special like she is, But I would think with practicing and becoming the High Alderman that you'd be a lot better than you were. I mean, like a lot better. I know it takes a while, but he's only able to do one move before he's completely useless. And it's like, really? You know, you'd think you'd be able to do a little bit more than that. If that's the case, they really haven't shown as much of that, have they? How do I know that you're somebody who can train me? You know what I'm saying? It's like those PE teachers in your school that are trying to tell you how to be healthy and they weigh like 500 pounds. Meanwhile, freaking Hellraiser people are watching them and they're getting an order to take the girl and kill the others. The next cutscene, we finally see his door to his prison is open. He asks if anyone's there and he's completely abandoned and free. And then we get Black Hole Sun, and I was introduced to this song when I watched For All Mankind, and the way that it was used was perfect. They start to do a female rendition cover of it because for some reason all the cover of songs in this are by females, and they have this lilting, ethereal type of atmosphere to them for some reason. And they play it as though it's supposed to be some great reveal. Then it crescendos when we see, I guess, a city. And when he looks at, you know, something, the music takes off like it's supposed to be impactful, except it's not a payoff. It doesn't fit. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. Why is there this big inspirational epic music like we're supposed to feel something? Okay, you got freaking the Flash up here on the right hand side reaching out for what is this? What are we looking at? For some perspective, I'm gonna show a clip for All Mankind. Spoilers if you guys haven't watched it. But this is how they use their song at the end of their clip. When things are starting to move along and technology is advancing and you're like, oh crap, that's how far they've come right now? This is where they're about to go? To Mars? For realsies? The whole idea was they're about to go to Mars. This is the big lead up. This is the big payoff. Seeing the space race between Russia, the independent, and America all racing towards Mars. And the technological advancement and the success that has taken the world whole by storm. This is the next level. Something that they never thought they'd achieve. It's a huge payoff and it makes you want to see the rest of the season. This is something you've been waiting for. So the song really fits. Here is how they use it in Willow.
Black hole sun, won't you come and wash away the rain?
What is this city? I don't know what I'm looking at. There's no payoff. They're okay. Why are they doing this whole cinematic cutscene as though it's supposed to be some major reveal? It's just Eric's there. Somebody set him free, or they want him to think he's free. And we wanted an excuse to use a song so people would want to look it up by Shazamming it and feel like they've gotten something out of this episode. It's not even a great cover either. It doesn't even fit. I don't even know what the hell I was looking at. That alone just made me pissed off. And some of the song choices they use for this just don't make sense. Anyways, that was episode 4 of Willow. Jesus Christ. I don't understand the logic of this show, to be honest. Like, I know people think that I'm just being mean, but I think people are so used to eating garbage that they don't realize that it's garbage. You know, when you're in the bathroom, you're taking a shite. That's kind of the feel that these people or everyone gets. Maybe there's some people genuinely like it, and that's great. But I have a feeling that a lot of people are so used to just smelling the shit that they just think that everything is fine and doesn't smell until they walk out the room for a while and get fresh air and then re-enter the bathroom. I feel like I'm catching the flu. I really do hope the show gets better, but we're already on episode 4 and it's not looking so good. The most entertaining part about this entire ordeal is making fun of it. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.